After a long wait, the Pocket 4P has finally been released internationally. The best way to find out how good it is to compare it to another camera. And there's only one camera that's really suitable for this right now, the Insta360 Luna Ultra. Both cameras also recently received an update that not only improved the image quality, but also added new features. So this is going to be a very exciting comparison. Since I received the Pocket 4P relatively late, I simply took it with me on a weekend hike in the mountains and took as many comparison shots as possible. So come along with me on this short trip and let me know what you think of this comparison. To make this video easier to follow, it's divided into 10 categories that are relevant to the quality of a pocket camera. The Pocket 4P and the Insta360 Luna Ultra were provided to me for testing purposes, but this video does not include any additional paid sponsorship. Before we look at the comparison shots, let's take a closer look at the design of the two cameras. That's where some of the most important differences between them lie. The Pocket 4P and the Luna Ultra are similar in size and weigh almost the same. The Pocket 4P's camera unit is slightly larger. While the Pocket 4P has two buttons below the display, the Luna Ultra has two buttons integrated into the display. This is more convenient when you're using the display vertically in portrait mode. The Pocket 4P's buttons then disappear beneath the display. The Luna Ultra also has a zoom slider that also lets you quickly switch between the focal lengths of the individual lenses as needed, which is also very useful. On the other hand, what I like about the Pocket 4P is that you can move the joystick just slightly to achieve a slower movement. Another cool feature is that the Pocket 4P has connectors on the gimbal head where you can magnetically attach a fill light, which charges directly through the camera. The Luna Ultra has three small tripod legs on the bottom that fold out, allowing you to set up the camera without needing a larger tripod. That can also be very useful. But the most important difference is definitely that the Luna Ultra screen, along with its buttons, can be detached. The screen then connects to the camera like a remote, and you can control the Luna Ultra from a distance. It's also very useful that the detachable screen comes with a built-in microphone. No matter what other differences we'll see today, for me personally, the detachable screen and remote are very useful and represent the Luna Ultra's greatest strength in this comparison. Of course, that's also because I'm a solo creator and always have to film myself. The Pocket 4P also comes with a remote, the Osmo Frame Tab. The Frame Tab comes from the Osmo Mobile 8P. And the cool thing is that if you already own such a gimbal, you can also connect the Osmo Mobile's Frame Tab to the Pocket 4P. You can use the Frame Tab to change some settings, adjust the framing, and start tracking. But of course, it's not a full replacement for the Luna Ultra's detachable screen. Additionally, the Frame Tab isn't included in all bundles. But let's finally take a closer look at the recordings and the image quality. As you can see, both cameras produce excellent footage that doesn't seem all that different at first glance. These initial comparison shots were taken with the wide-angle main lens. It's interesting to note that compared to the Pocket 4, the Pocket 4P features a completely new sensor for the wide-angle lens. It's a so-called Lofic Sensor, which can produce an incredible dynamic range of up to 17 stops. However, this is only possible if you use the new D-Lock2 lock profile. We'll get to that in a moment. These shots here were taken using the standard color profile, and I deliberately took several shots under varying lighting conditions to see how the cameras react and how they handle challenging lighting situations. And both do a fantastic job. The Luna Ultra might even protect the highlights a little better than the Pocket 4P. The colors of the two shots also look very similar for the most part. In the standard color profile, the Luna Ultra's shots generally have slightly more contrast and saturation. Interestingly, the Pocket 4P's shots might even have slightly more magenta tones than the Luna Ultras. In past comparisons between Insta360 and DJI cameras, it was usually the other way around. But as I said, the differences are rather subtle and really only stand out in a direct comparison. Incidentally, the Luna Ultra's wide-angle lens has a slightly wider aperture of f1.8 than the Pocket 4P's wide-angle lens at f2. This results in slightly stronger background blur and could be an advantage in low-light conditions. But we'll test that as well in a moment. Here you can see a 400% magnification, and there are hardly any noticeable differences in the details. Both cameras offer a range of color filters, such as the filter Movie shown here. Thanks to its partnership with Leica, the Luna Ultra also includes a few cool Leica color profiles. Only the Luna Ultra also supports a 2x lossless zoom when using the main wide-angle lens. This is likely not possible on the Pocket 4P due to its new sensor. Both cameras also have a 3x telephoto lens with a 60mm focal length. And when using this lens, both cameras, including the Pocket 4P, offer a 2 times lossless zoom with a 6x zoom factor or a focal length of 120mm. This means you can still take very good, high-quality shots with both cameras, even at a 6x zoom. You can then zoom in digitally on both cameras up to 12x. But this isn't really recommended, as it results in a significant reduction in image quality. Let's take a look at a few more comparison shots taken with the telephoto lens. The 3x telephoto lens is, of course, not only great for getting closer to your subject, but also fantastic for portrait shots. And here the Pocket 4P has a slight advantage, since the Pocket 4P's telephoto lens has a slightly wider aperture of f1.8, which results in a bit more background blur. You can clearly see the difference in these shots. As you can see, even at 6x, that is with the 2x lossless zoom, both cameras produce very good recordings. Especially at 6x, you can take very beautiful macro-like close-ups with both cameras. This works even better with the Luna Ultra, since its telephoto lens has a slightly shorter minimum focusing distance of 15 cm. The minimum focusing distance of the Pocket 4P's telephoto lens is 20 cm. Apart from that, the same differences in saturation and contrast that we've already seen with the wide-angle lens also apply to the telephoto lens. In these shots taken against the sun, the Pocket 4P protects the highlights slightly better than the Luna Ultra. Whether using the wide angle or telephoto lens, both cameras have excellent dynamic range, which in the default settings is certainly also the result of some HDR processing and not just the sensor's performance. By the way, on both cameras, you can also reduce the sharpness in the standard color profile if you want. On the Luna Ultra, you can also adjust the saturation and contrast if needed. But it's really hard to say that one of the two cameras clearly outperforms the other and stands out in the standard color profile. While the detachable screen and remote is the Luna Ultra standout feature in this comparison, the Pocket 4P standout feature is its Lofic Sensor with an outstanding dynamic range of up to 17 stops. This matches the dynamic range of a high-end professional cinema camera. To take advantage of this, you'll need to shoot in D-Log2. D-Log2 is a very flat 10-bit log profile that's completely different from the standard D-Log. The Luna Ultra also features a 10-bit log profile called iLog. Both DJI and Insta360 provide LUTs that let you convert log footage into recordings with contrast and saturation with just one click. Here you can see comparison shots that are simply converted using the DJI and Insta360 LUTs. In fact, the result is rather average. And that's understandable, since these log recordings are intended for color grading and should be further corrected in post. They aren't meant to be simply converted with the LUT and left as is. Ideally, you should also shoot using manual settings. By the way, you always have to set the ISO value manually on the Pocket 4P in D-Log2. To test the sensor's actual performance, I took a comparison shot here in the office using manual settings under very challenging conditions, and then corrected it manually. And only then does the Pocket 4P's true strength become apparent. You can see this clearly here in the window and the highlights. By the way, I achieved the best results with the Pocket 4P by overexposing the shot by 1 stop. And the result is truly impressive, and certainly the Pocket 4P's greatest strength in this comparison. While I really like D-Log2, there is also a drawback you should be aware of. D-Log2 is only available on the wide-angle lens and not on the telephoto lens, which only supports standard D-Log and lacks the extreme dynamic range. The reason for this is clear. D-Log2 requires the new Lofic Sensor, which was only used on the wide-angle camera. The Luna Ultra has a special feature related to log. You can shoot in iLog on the Luna Ultra, apply a filter directly in camera, and convert the footage. This is useful for anyone who wants a slightly softer, less heavily processed look, but doesn't feel like doing color grading. Both cameras have an additional HDR color profile in case you want to view your footage on an HDR-capable screen, such as a modern smartphone. This is important because the Pocket 4, not the 4P, does not have this option. Each of the two cameras has a unique strength when it comes to resolution and frame rates. Unlike the Pocket 4P, the Luna Ultra can also shoot in 8K at up to 30 frames per second. That means you get footage that you can crop significantly without much loss of quality. That's not possible with the Pocket 4P. Personally, 8K isn't that important to me. It creates very large files, and many computers have trouble processing them. The Luna Ultra was supposed to support a resolution of 4K in portrait mode. However, this feature hasn't been implemented yet, and both cameras can currently only shoot in portrait mode with a crop and at 3K. The Pocket 4P also has a special feature in a direct comparison. It can shoot slow motion footage in 4K at up to 240 frames per second. This lets you capture really cool shots, especially of action. But it's not just suitable for action scenes, it's also great for interesting B-roll footage. I would probably prefer 4K to 40 over 8K, but of course that might be different for you. For shooting in low light, both cameras have their own shooting mode with particularly efficient noise reduction. And I have to say, the low light performance of both cameras is fantastic. I used to do low light comparisons at dusk. Now I have to do them in very dark conditions, because otherwise you can't tell the difference anymore and the cameras aren't pushed to their limits. The biggest difference between the footage from the two cameras probably lies in the white balance, which the Luna Ultra handles slightly better under artificial light. However, it also takes a slightly more aggressive approach and corrects the white balance more heavily. Aside from that, the Pocket 4P's footage has a bit more noise when it's very dark. But admittedly, it's extremely dark here, and normally you shouldn't necessarily be filming under these conditions. The Pocket 4P's telephoto lens may offer minimal advantages in low light. As mentioned, it has a slightly wider aperture, but there is hardly any noticeable difference in image noise. The bigger difference here too lies in the white balance. The Luna Ultra corrects it more aggressively, resulting in more natural colors, although this also causes the unique color rendering of the artificial light to be lost to some extent. In normal use, the stabilization on both gimbals works very well, and I wouldn't say you can notice any clear differences. But purely in terms of stabilization, I see the Luna Ultra as having the edge. There are two reasons for this. When you use tracking while vlogging, that is, when you activate tracking and then move around as I did here, the Pocket 4P tends to produce slight jerks. That's not the case with the Luna Ultra. I have no idea why that is, but I've noticed it with the Pocket 4 and Pocket 3 as well. Especially with the Pocket 4 and 4P, you shouldn't track yourself while vlogging. And even when I run an extreme test like the one here, the Pocket 4P has a bit more trouble handling the vibrations and extreme movements. That said, of course, hardly anyone will be filming like this in real-world use. When it comes to the range of motion, both cameras have the same limitations. They can't rotate indefinitely, especially on the pan axis, and both reach their limit very quickly when panning to the left. Maybe the next generation of pocket cameras will include a model that can rotate without limits. That would be especially useful for tracking. I also did a tracking comparison and set the follow speed to the maximum on both cameras for this test. Here I'd say that the Pocket 4P can actually follow me a bit faster. The gimbal rotates slightly faster. On the other hand, if the subject disappears from the frame for a longer period, the Luna Ultra will pick it up again, whereas the Pocket 4P won't. Both cameras also have intelligent tracking features and can track a subject automatically, or you can preset the framing using framing points. Only the Pocket 4P has recently added frame tracking, a feature that maintains the subject's position as it was at the start of tracking. A very useful new feature. And that brings us to the unique features of these two cameras. Special features we haven't discussed yet. For example, only the Luna Ultra can take a full 360 photo, just like a photo from a 360 camera where you can look around freely. Only the Pocket 4P lets you register a subject, which the camera will then prioritize when tracking or focusing. This is useful especially when multiple people are in the frame. Only the Luna Ultra supports the POV head tracker, which allows the camera to follow the direction of your head. But only the Pocket 4P supports Auto Media Transfer, a new feature that automatically transfers new recordings to your smartphone after you turn off the camera. Both cameras have internal storage, but the Pocket 4P's 103 GB of internal storage is more than twice as large as the Luna Ultra's. This is useful because the Luna Ultra's 47 GB fill up quickly. And the Pocket 4P also has advantages when it comes to recording time. In 4K 30, the Luna Ultra records for about 2 hours until the battery runs out. The Pocket 4P records 42 minutes longer with the standard battery, for a total of 2 hours and 42 minutes. While that's less than the Pocket 4, it's still a very good figure. Clearly the Pocket 4P is a real workhorse. Both cameras have very good built-in microphones. I recorded these comparison shots using the voice enhancement mode and the voice boost mode. DJI and Insta360 have now built up a full-fledged ecosystem, and both offer their own microphones such as the Mic 3 or the Mic Pro for their cameras. It's an advantage to use a microphone from the same manufacturer, because only then can you achieve good audio quality using just the transmitter, so without having to use the receiver. Of course, that's something to keep in mind as well. I think we've seen that both the Luna Ultra and the Pocket 4P are very good cameras, each with its own focus and unique strengths. But the Pocket 4P has one more advantage. It's more affordable. The Pocket 4P costs 600 euros in Europe. It's not currently sold in the US. The Luna Ultra, on the other hand, costs $770 in the US and €730 in Europe. You'll find links to both cameras in the description below. If you use the DJI link for the Pocket 4P, you'll receive a credit for future purchases. If you use the link for the Luna Ultra, you'll exclusively receive a black mist filter as a free gift. So what would I recommend? I'm convinced you'll be very satisfied with either camera. The Pocket 4P's particular strengths lie in its new Lofic sensor, long battery life, integration into the extensive DJI ecosystem, and of course its lower price. Especially if you frequently edit your footage and spend most of your time behind the camera, it's a very good choice and provides good value for the price. The Luna Ultra, on the other hand, appeals particularly to consumers, and the detachable screen is a major advantage if you often film yourself. It's very well designed, has hardly any weaknesses, and also captures outstanding footage. How do you see the difference between the two cameras? Did I miss anything? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You'll find a detailed tutorial on the Luna Ultra on my channel. A tutorial on the Pocket 4P will follow soon. So give me a like as feedback if you found the video interesting, stay tuned, and see you next time.